I'm not one of those people who goes looking for adventure or thrills. I'm just a regular guy in my mid-30s, working in tech sales out of New York. February, there is brutal, endless gray skies, that dirty slush piling up on the sidewalks, and everyone hacking away on the subway like it's a tuberculosis ward. So when I got invited to this 3-day conference in LA, I figured, why not turn it into a mini vacation? Extend it to 6 days total. Hit the sessions, do some networking, then just chill on the beach, soak up some sun. Maybe even meet a few people, have a drink or two on the boardwalk. Hubba hubba, right? Looking back, I should have just stuck to a hotel chain. But no, I had to go for that local experience vibe and book an Airbnb. The place looked perfect on the app. A modern bungalow in Venice, right near the beach but tucked away from the tourist chaos. Hardwood floors, full kitchen, queen bed, and this big desk by a picture window overlooking some palm trees. It was Venice adjacent, they called it, close enough to walk to the ocean but quiet. I booked it for the whole 6 days, thinking it'd be my little oasis. Escape the winter blues, reset my head. What could go wrong? I flew out from JFK, landed at LAX without a hitch, grabbed an Uber curbside. The driver was this chill guy who knew all the back roads to avoid traffic. We chatted about the Lakers or something. I don't even remember. Check-in was straightforward. The host had sent detailed instructions. Lockbox by the side gate, code punched in via the app. I rolled up around 2 p.m., punched in the numbers, and there was the key just like promised. Pushed open the door, and bam, it was exactly like the photos. Clean, bright, with that fresh paint and citrus smell hitting me right away. No clutter, no personal stuff lying around. Felt like a blank slate, which is what I wanted. I'm renting the space, not crashing at someone's grandma's house. First thing I did was unpack. I'm compulsive about that, always have been. Can't stand living out of a suitcase. So I emptied my roller bag and backpack into the drawers and closet. Shirts folded, pants hung up, toiletries in the bathroom. Laptop and camera on the desk. I dabble in photography as a hobby, wallet and keys on the kitchen counter. Felt good, like I was settling in. The conference started the next day, so I grabbed a quick walk on the beach, snapped a few sunset shots with the waves crashing and seagulls wheeling overhead. Came back, ordered some takeout, and crashed early. Jet lag and all that. The first couple of days were totally normal. I'd head out early for the conference, panels on AI ethics, breakout sessions on cloud security, that kind of thing. Networked a bit, exchanged cards. Came back late, feet sore from standing around, and just vegged out. The bungalow was comfy. Queen bed was firm. Kitchen had everything I needed for coffee in the morning. I even cooked a simple pasta one night. No red flags at all. I mean, sure, the neighborhood was a little quiet at night. Waves in the distance, maybe a car passing by, but that's what I paid for. Peace. But by the third day, when the conference was wrapping up and my schedule opened up, that's when things started feeling off. It was subtle at first. I took a shower that morning, hot water steaming up the mirror, and I distinctly remember closing the bathroom door behind me when I stepped out. Habit from living in shared apartments back in the day. Don't want steam everywhere. Dried off, got dressed, headed to the kitchen for breakfast. But when I came back later to grab my toothbrush before heading out, the door was wide open, not cracked, fully swung back against the wall. I paused, staring at it. Ha! I muttered to myself. Must have been a draft. The place had a lot of windows, and I'd cracked one in the living room for fresh air. Yeah, that had to be it. I shook it off and went about my day. Conference ended around noon, so I treated myself to a long walk on the boardwalk. Skaters zipping by, street performers juggling, the smell of salt water and fried food. It was February, but LA weather was mild, mid-60s. A light breeze off the ocean. Felt like a world away from New York's freeze. Snapped more photos, even chatted with a woman at a smoothie stand. Nothing came of it, but it was nice. Headed back to the bungalow around dusk, feeling relaxed. Unlocked the door, flipped on the lights. Everything looked the same. But as I wandered into the bedroom to change, I noticed the closet doors, those bifold ones, were pushed in slightly, like they'd been opened and not quite shut. I never used closets in rentals, Too easy to forget stuff. My luggage was zipped up on the floor inside, right where I'd left it. I pulled the doors open slowly, heart picking up a bit for no reason. Empty hangers, a spare blanket on the shelf. Nothing missing, nothing added. Weird, I said aloud, like talking to myself would make it normal. Maybe the house settled or something. Old buildings do that, right? I closed them firmly and tried not to think about it. That night, though, is when the unease really set in. I was winding down, scrolling on my phone in bed, when I got hungry for a snack. I'd bought some groceries earlier, bread, peanut butter, that kind of basics. Headed to the kitchen, flipped on the light, and there it was. The peanut butter jar, sitting right out on the counter, lid off, with a spoon stuck in it like someone had just taken a scoop. I froze. I hadn't touched it since unpacking. Hell, I don't even eat peanut butter straight from the jar. That's gross. My mind raced. Did I do that absent-mindedly? No, I distinctly remembered putting it away in the cabinet. The spoon wasn't even one I'd used. It looked clean except for the peanut butter residue. A chill ran down my spine, that prickly feeling like someone was watching. I glanced around the kitchen, empty, silent. The window was shut, no breeze. Okay, this is stupid, I told myself. You're jet-lagged, paranoid from too many true crime podcasts. But I couldn't shake it. I screwed the lid back on, put it away, and double-checked the front door lock before going to bed. Slept with the lamp on just in case. The next morning, I woke up feeling dumb about the whole thing. Sun was streaming in, birds chirping outside. Laughed it off over coffee. But that gnawing doubt wouldn't go away. What if someone had been in here? The host? A neighbor with a key? I know it sounds crazy, but once the idea plants itself, it's hard to uproot. So I decided to test it. Before heading out for lunch, some taco truck I'd heard about, I took photos of everything. Timestamped them on my phone. Wide shots of each room. Living room couch cushions straight, kitchen counters clear, bedroom nightstand with my charger coiled neatly in a figure eight. Even folded a dish towel precisely over the oven handle, like a little origami thing. If anything moves, I thought, I'll know. Lunch was great, fish tacos, ocean view. But walking back, my stomach was in knots. Unlocked the door, stepped in quietly. At first glance, everything seemed fine. Then I checked the photos. The dish towel? It was still folded, but sloppier, like someone had picked it up and put it back without caring. The charger on the nightstand, uncoiled and rewound in a loose loop, not my tight figure eight. And the peanut butter? Now in the pantry instead of the cabinet where I'd left it. My heart pounded. This wasn't imagination. Someone had been here. The silence in the house felt different now. Not peaceful, but expectant. Like the air was holding its breath, waiting for me to react. I stood in the kitchen for what felt like forever, listening. Nothing but the faint hum of the fridge. Who's doing this? I whispered, half expecting an answer. No one replied, of course. But the paranoia was real. Was it the host sneaking in? A squatter? Or something worse? I paced the living room, mind spinning. Called AirBnB support, but the whole time was ridiculous. 20 minutes just to talk to someone. Hung up. Figured I'd handle it myself. That evening, I upped the ante. Set my phone on the entry table, propped against a stack of coasters from the drawer, camera aimed right at the front door. Hit record, made sure the battery was full. Then I opened the Uber app and requested a ride. No real destination. Just needed to look like I was leaving. When the car pulled up, a black sedan, driver waving, I locked the door behind me, climbed in. Just around the block, man, I said, trying to sound casual. Dropped something. He shrugged, didn't ask questions. I tipped him extra on the app as he dropped me on Pacific Avenue, a block away. Heart racing like a drum, I looped back through an alley, sticking to shadows. The sun was dipping low, casting long orange streaks across the pavement. Crouched behind a neighbor's hedge, prickly leaves scratching my arms, I watched the bungalow. Minutes ticked by, 5, 10. Then, there it was, a dark blue SUV rolling up the driveway. No front plates, tinted windows. Parked quietly, engine cutting off. I snapped a photo from my spot, zoom in as much as I could. Door opened, and a figure stepped out. Middle-aged guy, white hoodie, jeans. Thinning hair, puffy face like he hadn't slept. He glanced around, then headed straight for the side gate, disappearing around the house. Adrenaline surged. I waited a beat, then crept forward, sticking to the fence line. The front door was cracked open now, just a sliver. I could hear movement inside. Soft footsteps on the hardwood, a cupboard creaking. My phone was still recording inside. Good. I pushed the door open slowly, heart in my throat. The living room was dim, shadows lengthening from the setting sun. Followed the sounds to the kitchen. There he was, back to me, rummaging in the fridge like he owned the place. Bottles clinking, him muttering something under his breath. "Who the hell are you?" I said, voice steadier than I felt. He spun around, eyes wide, hands half raised. Whoa, you scared me, man." Puffy face flushed, thinning hair disheveled. He looked like he'd been caught with his hand in the cookie jar. Literally, since he had a soda in one hand. "I asked you a question." I pressed, stepping closer. The kitchen felt too small, air thick with tension. I'm the owner," he stammered, nodding too quickly. "This is my house. I just left some stuff here. Figured while you were out." He trailed off, eyes darting to the door. "Bullshit." I felt a cold anger rising. "You've been coming in the whole time, moving things, going through my stuff." He shifted, casual-like, but I saw the calculation in his eyes. "Look, man, I didn't touch anything, just grabbing a few things. No harm, right?" I blocked the doorway. "Don't move." Pulled out my phone, the spare one in my pocket, and hit record again just in case. "My other phone's been filming the door since I left. I saw your car pull up. You've been here before, doors open, peanut butter out. What else did you take?" His face changed then. The fake surprise melted into something harder, more desperate. Hands tightened at his sides. "Hey, come on. That's not necessary. I'm not dangerous. I swear. This is my place. I just thought I could slip in while nobody was home. Didn't think you'd be back so soon." "You went through my shit," I said, voice low. "I'm missing $500 from my luggage. And my laptop. It's not on the desk anymore." He looked away, muttering. "Look, you don't need to call anyone. I'll give it back." Admitted it just like that, under pressure. His bag was on the counter. I hadn't noticed it before. Zipped shut, but bulky. I was already dialing 911. Too late. Police are on their way. He swore, spun like he might run, but I was between him and the exit. "Please, man, it's not what you think. I needed the cash, hard times. The laptop, I was gonna pawn it, but I can give it back. No caps." The dispatcher picked up, and I gave the address, keeping eyes on him. He deflated, shoulders slumping, just stood there looking pathetic. Cops showed up fast. 2 cruisers, lights flashing in the twilight. I showed them the video from my propped phone, him entering, heading straight to the kitchen. They patted him down, went through his bag. There it was, my laptop wrapped in a sweatshirt, and the cash wad, some bills marked with my initials in the corner. I'd done that on a whim before the trip. Travel a lot, heard stories of thefts. Proved it was mine. The officers didn't cuff him. Said since he was the legal owner, it wasn't straight trespassing. No forced entry. But the theft? That was different. They escorted him out, warned him not to come back. Let me file a statement right there in the living room. One cop nodded at my phone video. "This'll help if you push charges through Airbnb." Smart move. I watched the SUV drive off into the darkening street, taillights fading. My hands started shaking then, the adrenaline crash hitting hard. What if I'd come back later, found everything gone, him long vanished? Or worse, what if he'd heard me come in, decided to fight? The guy looked desperate. Puffy eyes, shaky hands. Could have been on something. I still can't explain why he thought he could get away with it, sneaking in like that. Prior complaints, Airbnb later said. This wasn't his first rodeo. That night was hell. I barricaded the door with a chair under the knob, old school style. Pushed the couch against it for good measure. Kept every light on, windows locked tight. Suitcase in front of the bedroom window just in case. Lay there staring at the ceiling, jumping at every creak. The house settling, wind off the ocean rattling palms outside. Rain started around midnight, pattering on the roof, turning the streets slick and foggy. Made everything feel more isolated, like the world outside had vanished. I kept thinking I heard footsteps in the hall, soft thuds on the hardwood. But when I'd sit up, nothing. Just my imagination? Or had he come back? Lurking? I didn't sleep much. First thing morning, I called AirBnB again. Walked them through it all, the anomalies, the setup, the confrontation. Sent the video, photos of the SUV, police report. To their credit, they didn't brush it off. Full refund, extra credit, host suspended permanently. We were already reviewing complaints, the rep said, voice apologetic. Sorry it escalated like this. Yeah, me too. I couldn't stay another night. Packed up fast, checked into a cramped boutique hotel downtown. Tiny room, shower you could barely turn in, but the door had a deadbolt and chain. Key card access only. Felt secure even if it cost an arm. That last day in LA, I wandered the boardwalk again, but it wasn't relaxing anymore. Kept glancing over my shoulder, scanning faces in the crowd. Was that hoodie guy watching? Or someone else? Looking back, I should have trusted my gut sooner. Those little things, door open, jar out, they weren't nothing. And what if I'd missed it all? Stayed out longer, come back to an empty desk, gaslit by some story about misplacing things. Or if the timing was off, caught him in a bad moment. I shudder thinking about it. I still use Airbnb sometimes. Most hosts are fine, normal people. But now, I photograph everything before leaving. Mark my bills. Double-check locks. Set traps with threads or tape. Vigilance is key, they say. But even now, back in New York, I hear echoes sometimes. Footsteps in my apartment hall at night. Whispers. Nah, probably the neighbors. Still, I check the doors. Twice. I know it sounds paranoid, but after that, can you blame me? The dread lingers, unresolved. What if he's out there, watching listings, waiting for the next mark? Or worse, what if it wasn't just theft? What if he had other plans? I still can't explain those footsteps I thought I heard that night. Maybe I never will. Back in the spring of 2022, I was feeling pretty burned out from work. Nothing major, just the usual grind that makes you crave a break. I'm not one of those adventure seekers or anything. I'm more of a homebody who likes his routines. So I figured a quick getaway would do the trick. I booked this Airbnb cabin online. It was cheap, only about 3 hours drive from my place in the city. The listing described it as a cozy little spot in the woods, part of a cluster of identical cabins scattered across the owner's property. Sounded peaceful, right? A chance to unplug, maybe read a book or just stare at trees. I didn't have any big plans. It was literally just to hang out in nature for a few days. I arrived late the first night, unpacked my stuff, and crashed hard. The cabin was small but nice. Wooden walls, a tiny kitchenette, and this stone fireplace that gave it that rustic vibe. The next morning, or I guess afternoon since I slept in until noon, I woke up feeling refreshed. Made myself some coffee from the stash they provided, lit a fire even though it wasn't that cold, and just lounged on the couch. It was one of those lazy days where time slips away. Birds chirping outside, the smell of pine drifting in, pure bliss. As the sun started dipping low, though, I got a bit restless. I thought, why not take a walk? Explore a little. I threw on a hoodie because the air had that crisp evening chill, and headed out the back door. There was this faint path right behind the cabin, barely more than a dirt trail worn into the underbrush. The listing mentioned paths connecting the cabins, but they weren't marked or anything. I figured they were leftovers from when the owner built the place, tromping back and forth with supplies. I started following it, not really aiming anywhere specific. Assumed it'd curve around eventually and lead to another cabin or loop back. The forest was dense, trees towering overhead, filtering the fading light into this golden haze. It was quiet, except for the occasional rustle of leaves or a distant bird call. Felt good to stretch my legs. But after maybe 10 minutes, I spotted something off to the side, maybe 200 or 300 yards away through the trees. Two figures, men, I think, standing stock still in a small clearing. They weren't moving at all, just staring down at the ground like they were fixated on something on the forest floor. No talking, no gestures, nothing. It was weird, you know? Like, who stands like that in the middle of nowhere? I kept walking but couldn't help glancing back, watching them until the trees blocked my view. I told myself they were probably just other guests from nearby cabins, out for a hike or whatever. From that distance, maybe it looked stranger than it was. At least that's what I hoped. Looking back, I should have turned around right then. I pushed on a bit further, but the path didn't bend or loop like I expected. It just kept going straight, deeper into the woods, away from where I knew the other cabins were. That, plus those guys earlier, started nagging at me. My gut was saying, hey, maybe head back before it gets too dark. Almost as soon as that thought hit, there was this sound. It came from behind me, sharp and sudden, like a scream mixed with an animal call, kind of like an elk bugling, but off, too guttural, too echoing, like it vibrated through the entire forest. It didn't sound natural at all. My heart jumped, and I spun around, freezing in place. There they were, the two men now on the trail behind me about 150 yards back. Still not moving, just facing my direction. Were they staring at me? I couldn't tell from that far, but it felt like it. That scream couldn't have come from them. It was way too loud, too widespread. Even if they were trying to mimic an animal, it didn't fit. But why were they there now, following the same path? Paranoia kicked in hard. I stood there for what felt like forever, maybe 10 or 15 seconds, locked in this silent standoff. Then I took a couple steps backward, testing the waters. That's when they moved. Suddenly, they stepped off the trail, melting into the trees until I couldn't see them anymore. Gone just like that. I didn't budge for a few minutes, heart pounding in my ears. To get back to the cabin, I'd have to walk right past where they'd been. What if they were waiting? I sure as hell wasn't going deeper. After about 5 minutes of straining to listen and watch, with no sign of them, I bolted back the way I'd come. Feet pounding the dirt, branches whipping my arms. I didn't stop until I burst through the cabin door and locked it behind me. Panting, I leaned against the wall, trying to calm down. I thought about messaging the host through the app. Hey, what's up with that path? Saw some weird guys out there. But it sounded paranoid, right? Like, overreacting to nothing. So I kept it to myself, tossed some more wood on the fire, and tried to shake it off. The sun was pretty much gone by then, the woods outside turning into this inky black void. No way was I stepping foot out there again that night. I made some tea, settled by the fireplace, watching the flames dance. After half an hour or so, I started feeling normal again, relaxed even, but that lasted maybe 15 minutes before it happened. That sound again. The same bellowing scream, echoing from somewhere out in the darkness. Seemed distant, but who knows with these thin cabin walls. Could have been closer than I thought. I jumped up, tea spilling a bit, and crept to the back window. Peered out, but it was pitch black. Just vague outlines of trees swaying in the wind. Nothing else. The longer I stared, though, the more this chill crept up my spine, like I was being watched. I yanked the curtains shut and backed away. Okay, time to Google this. I'm not a nature expert. City boy through and through. So maybe it was some local animal I didn't know about. Foxes? Owls? I searched forest scream sounds and variations, scrolling through videos and articles. Nothing matched. The more I dug, the creepier it got. Stories of Bigfoot calls or whatever nonsense. I know it sounds crazy, but my mind started racing. I put the phone down, telling myself to stop. Another 30 minutes ticked by, the fire crackling away, but I couldn't shake it. Then, through the pops of the wood, I heard footsteps. Heavy boots thumping on the wooden porch out front. They stopped right at the door. My blood ran cold. 20 agonizing seconds of silence. Then a slow, deliberate knock. Knock, knock, knock. I crept over, heart slamming against my ribs, and peeked through the peephole. There they were, two men, I assumed the same ones. Hoodies up, faces hidden behind those cheap plastic animal masks, like from a dollar store Halloween bin. A deer and a wolf, maybe? They looked identical otherwise, just standing there motionless. I fumbled for my phone, dialing 911 as I backed away. "There's someone at my door," I whispered to the dispatcher, voice shaking. They knocked again, louder. I was midway through explaining when, bam! A hard thud shook the door, like a kick or a punch. I thought that was it. They were breaking in. Terror like I'd never felt washed over me. Pure animal fear. But then, footsteps retreating. I peeked out again, seeing them walk off into the trees, swallowed by the dark. Cops showed up about 30 minutes later. One officer, looking skeptical as I spilled the story. He found a fresh gouge on the door, like from a knife blade. Took notes, but I could tell he thought it was kids pranking or something. "We'll look into it," he said. I didn't wait around. Packed my bags and drove home that night. Never looked back. Every few months, I still search news for that area. Disappearances, weird sightings. Nothing. What did those guys want? Okay, let me start by saying I'm not the dramatic type. I'm just your average 32-year-old office manager from Chicago, the kind who thrives on routines and checklists. My husband Barry, though, he's the opposite. Laid back to a fault, always winging it, packing 5 minutes before we leave for anywhere. But he balances me out, you know? We've been married 6 years, and we've taken plenty of trips without issue. Weekend getaways, mostly nothing extravagant. That's why this one felt so innocent at the start. We saw this cute little town on Instagram. Lakes, creeks, those drone shots of misty water and autumn leaves. Yeah, I thought, we could use that. Escape the city grind for a long weekend. Looking back, I should have paid more attention to that nagging gut feeling from the get-go. But hindsight's 20/20ths, right? I handled the booking, of course. Barry picked the spot, but I'm the one who scoured AirBnB for the perfect place. This one jumped out. A cozy house with bright white interiors, Edison bulbs, a fire pit out back, walking distance to the river. Reviews were solid, 5 stars. Guests raving about the cleanliness and quiet. I verified the host's profile, checked references, made sure the lockbox code came through. The confirmation email even said it had been recently cleaned and fully reset. Reset, like hitting refresh on a browser. Made it sound so sterile and safe. We weren't going off-grid or anything. Just a 3-hour drive from home. Easy peasy. The drive was actually kind of nice. 2-lane roads winding through flat farmland, clusters of trees breaking up the horizon. We even passed actual cows grazing, which made us laugh like kids. "Look at us, city folk spotting wildlife," Barry joked. We stopped at this retro diner about 15 minutes out. Formica counters, vinyl booths, the works. Ordered soup and grilled cheese, just killing time until check-in. Felt like we were playing hooky from real life. By the time we pulled into the neighborhood, the sun was dipping low, casting long shadows over the cul-de-sac. It was quieter than I expected. No kids playing, no lawnmowers buzzing. The house sat at the end, hemmed in by tall hedges and a sagging wooden fence. That's when I spotted the car. Sleek silver sedan at the curb, hood dusted with pollen. Pine needles stuck to the windshield. Looked like it hadn't budged in days. "Do you think someone's still here?" I asked Barry, my voice tighter than I meant. He just shrugged, stretched his legs. "Probably nothing. I hate shrugging things off. I'm the one who triple checks doors at night if the AC creaks." I pulled up the app anyway, scrolled through the reservation. Dates right, address matched. Called customer service on speaker, brief hold. Then a cheerful rep confirmed everything. Host cleared out earlier this week. Sometimes guests leave cars if they get rides. "You're good to go." "Okay, fine." Barry was already at the porch, punching the lockbox code. It popped open, old brass key inside, a bit tarnished. He grinned like he'd won a prize, slid it into the lock. The door creaked open, revealing the living room. Neutral walls, abstract prints, fake fireplace glowing softly. Ceiling fan humming lazily. It matched the photos perfectly. The air hit me, not stale but not crisp either. like windows had been open all day and just shut. Barry stepped in, called out a goofy hello. No answer, obviously. We lugged in our bags and cooler, poking around. Kitchen spotless, dining table set like a model home, guest room bed made tight, bathroom gleaming, everything in order. But something felt too perfect, like it had been staged, not lived in. I tried to brush it off. Paranoid much? I muttered to myself. Barry headed to the kitchen with the cooler while I wandered the hall. "Babe, come see this," he called, voice edged with confusion. I found him staring into the open fridge. It was packed. Milk, deli meats, crisp veggies, a six-pack of beer, even a wrapped cheesecake on top. All fresh, labels unexpired. "This isn't ours, right?" he said. "No, definitely not. I hadn't ordered groceries. Maybe leftovers from before? But no, this stuff was days old at most." My stomach twisted. I messaged the host liaison right away. "Fridge full of food, not empty as promised." Response came quick. "Oops, honest mistake. Owner must have forgotten. House is vacant, though. Enjoy." No apology, just breezy. Barry cracked a soda, typical him, and went back for the bags. I lingered, that unease growing. Wandered to the bathroom again. Lemon cleaner scent, high window letting in fading light. Then I saw them. 6 orange pill bottles lined up on the toilet back. Picked one up, hydrocodone, 10 milligrams, date from last week. Name smudged like water damage. Others similar, anti-nausea, sleep aids, fresh prescriptions. Next to them, a thick manila envelope. I shouldn't have opened it, but I did. Forms from a cancer center billing, treatment plans, chemo dates, radiation notes, home care instructions. All current, ongoing. My gut clenched. This wasn't old stuff. Someone was sick actively. "Barry!" I called, voice shaky. That's when he screamed. Short, guttural, pure panic. Dropped the envelope, bolted down the hall. Found him in the master bedroom doorway, frozen. Pushed past, and stopped dead. There, on the carpet, a body. Male, face down. Skin this sickly gray-green, bloating in spots. The smell slammed into me. Metallic, sour, like spoiled oil. Not full rot yet, but close. Fingers curled like claws. Arms outstretched as if crawling toward the door. One leg twisted under him, unnatural angle. Clothes damp, stained with sweat and, worse, maroon blotches on his shirt back. Leaking. I gagged, but couldn't look away. It clicked then. The fridge stocked for someone ill, meds untouched, car outside unmoved. He didn't leave, I whispered, numb. He was always here. Barry backed out, heaving. I stepped closer, careful, skirting the mess. Dresser drawers full, socks, underwear, t-shirts, nightstand, charger plugged in, wallet open beside a water glass. ID visible, same last name as the host. This was him. Died mid-cleaning, probably. Alone. Barry was on the phone in the living room, pacing. "Yeah, a body. In the house you said was empty." "No, not like the fridge. This is a corpse rotting in the bedroom." His voice cracked. I stood in the kitchen, staring at the counter, mind racing. How did no one check? Customer service dismissed us twice without verifying. Negligence, pure and simple. No conspiracy, just laziness that could have killed us if we'd eaten that food or... worse. Police rolled up quiet, no sirens, 2 cruisers. First officer poked in, recoiled at the smell, hand over nose. "Step outside, folks." We waited by our car, gravel crunching underfoot. Barry smoked 3 cigs in a row, silent. I clutched my phone, ignoring piling messages from AirBnB. Sudden radio silence once dead body hit. Paramedics suited up, examined. Smell clung to everything, soaking into clothes, hair. An older detective showed. Lean, gray mustache, mirrored shades even at dusk. Questioned me first. "Know the deceased?" "No." "Been here before?" "No." "Touch anything?" Hesitated. "Yeah, the papers." Told him about the cancer docs. He noted it, watched his team zip the body into a black bag. Outline barely human. Smell lingered like fog. Questioned Barry next. Answers clipped. They took our IDs, verified the booking, let us go after statements. Before we left, detective said something chilling. No missing reports on him. No wellness checks. As far as anyone's concerned, he was alive till you walked in. Nodded but thought he had no one. Isolated. Forgotten. We drove to a Super 8 nearby, lobby reeking of bleach and stale coffee. Checked in, collapsed on the stiff bed, TV muted, shoes on. Barry finally spoke. What if we hadn't gone in there? Slept next door while he rotted? I had no answer. The what-ifs haunted me. What if we'd used the master bed? Eaten from the fridge? The darkness outside pressed in, rain starting to patter on the window. Fog rolled in from the lakes, blurring streetlights. I lay awake, hearing creaks. Wind? Or echoes of that crawl? Claws on carpet? I know it sounds crazy, but I swore I smelled that metallic tang faintly, clinging. Morning brought an AirBnB email. Apology for inconvenience. Full refund. Escalated to safety team. Even offered a free stay credit. Deleted it, uninstalled the app. Drove home in silence, rain streaking windows. But the dread didn't end. Back in Chicago, I double-checked doors obsessively. Hear whispers at night. Barry snoring? Or something else? Question my sanity sometimes. Was the staging too perfect because he tried one last clean? Or hint of something supernatural, a lingering presence? No, that's nuts. Real-world horror. Negligence. Isolation. Still, I avoid rentals. And that smell pops up in dreams. I still can't explain why no one checked on him, or why I feel watched in empty rooms. Looking back, I should have turned around at that dusty car. But we never do we? Until it's too late.